Are heaven and hell locations, or are they actually states of mind? Are they some place we go after we die, or is it right here within us? Through this video I wanted to share with you my perspective on heaven and hell, and explain why they are within your mind. Jesus also hinted at this with his statement, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." We can therefore also say the fires of hell are within you, both coexist as the polarities of good and evil. Basically, if we learn to open up our minds in certain directions, we can be sure of either experiencing something good, which is heaven, or something bad, which is hell. Heaven is a state of mind. Hell is a state of mind. The kingdom of heaven is within you, as Jesus said. The person in hell can grow towards heaven, and the person in heaven can fall down into hell. How does it happen? Well, a person grows out of hell into heaven by overcoming all the negative inside their consciousness, and likewise a person in heaven can fall out of that state by increasingly entertaining more and more negative things. Being worried over going to hell is to me rather pointless. If you have been living a bad life, purposefully doing bad things to other people at a massive scale, then yes, you would go to hell. But the only reason you would experience a place of hell once you are dead will be because your consciousness was trained throughout your lifetime to focus on destructive and bad things. From this we can also realize that if we spend most of our time while going through life contemplating good and beauty, then our minds are being trained in that direction and you would go to a heavenly realm. Do we have evidence for this? Well, I would say the evidence is revealed in your dreams at night. Some people have constant nightmares about all kinds of stuff that could go wrong because somewhere in their heart they know they are up to shady things during their waking hours. Others have dreams and experience heavenly things because their hearts are full of love, and so their dream world reflects that. You might say that the dream world is different from heaven and hell as we normally know it, but I would still make the claim that it actually reveals very symbolically what it would be like in the afterlife. It becomes easier to grasp this if you had lucid dreams, so I am well aware that since most people say they never experienced it, it remains a hard thing to describe and convey through words alone. But basically, I found myself in a nightmare in the past, and because I was lucid, which means aware, I was dreaming, and I was not in my physical body in the physical world, I could instantly change that nightmare into something beautiful. This ties back into my claim that someone in hell can grow towards heaven, and someone from heaven can fall back into hell. Let's suppose I had a beautiful dream. I behold the most heavenly world imaginable, but yet for some reason I decide to do bad things in it. I decide to use my consciousness to destroy and cause chaos, just for fun. Well, in that act I'm creating a hell of my own making, and that is the main point. Heaven and hell are ultimately subjective experiences, and because of that they can be controlled by us. If I spend most of my time contemplating negative stuff, I will never feel great, although in some sort of childish ignorance, I might temporarily get enjoyment out of entertaining negative stuff. Basically, people might like the idea of revenge, but ultimately it will never lead to happiness, and only more misery. If not for the other person, it will certainly be the case for you, since you are letting your mind be dominated by destructive ideas that go against the unity we all share. I would therefore advise you to take the time to consider what heaven would mean to you, instead of accepting it at face value and as the old idea goes, only if you do good will you go to heaven, only if you pray will you go to heaven. These things are not the only way to go about this. In fact, for most people this old way of trying to never sin, etc. will only cause more harm than good. They feel conflicted within themselves over many things when they try to relate it to the scriptures. But ultimately it is not complicated at all if you understand the power of consciousness and what it is capable of doing. You will realize that the Son of God returns, but he comes from within. If consciousness is tuned into God, then you are essentially starting the resurrection process within yourself, and you enter into the kingdom of heaven from within. You learn to communicate with God within your heart and receive divine guidance on how to go about your life. Therefore, if you are confused over whether you will go to heaven or hell, but don't quite know for sure if you are good enough, you only have to look within your own heart. Am I truly filled with love, or am I filled with hate? Love is of heaven, hate is of hell, and the one most active within you reveals to you on which path you are, the one to bliss or the one to suffering. The idea of suffering in eternal hellfire is also used to scare people into submission, to manipulate people into fearing doing certain things, but again you will only suffer in a hell of your own making due to your own state of consciousness. The person that were to go to hell because their whole mind was dominated by the negative will sooner or later have to learn to change their ways so that they too can go to heaven. God's cosmic soul does not condemn people to hell for eternity at all. Since all is one and came forth from God, He desires in the end for everything to become one with Him through their individualized consciousness, share in eternal joy with Him in this eternal creation of His. Such are the mysteries of the universe that we can only scratch the surface, if not even less than that. But in the end, all is one, and heaven and hell are only ways for us to learn what's good and what's bad, what's constructive and what's destructive, and through all that learning we will ultimately all feel compelled to go for the good which leads to heaven. No human on the planet actually enjoys suffering, enjoys feeling sad and depressed. The fact we don't even enjoy it shows that we were all meant to grow towards heaven, and we will, for heaven is within you, and it depends on your own state of mind. Although you might be severely depressed and your body for some reason is dragging you down, this is all the more reason to learn the art of meditation and learn to let go of your physical world altogether. It was not the real eternal you, it only showed a temporary version of you, and therefore happiness does not lie within just this physical realm alone, yet that is where most people are seeking. Go within your consciousness, discover the truth. If I entertain beautiful thoughts in my consciousness, if I set aside my own doubts and worries, if I stop judging the activity as being stupid, I will finally experience the truth for myself. The truth that heaven is within me, and the more I expand in the direction of loving thoughts, the greater my experience of reality will become, and then once I pass away, my consciousness will out of habit still be expanding in that direction, and lo and behold, I can see it, God. Thy kingdom was within me all along. Now if this video has helped you, please hit the like button below. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.